What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to a Social Matrix podcast. I am your host, Armin, and today we have one of my good friends here, Trey Morgan. He's a dating coach. Trey, brother, take it away. Tell us who you are, what you do, and if you have any products or programs coming up.
Yes, my brother, thank you for having me. As you said, I'm a dating coach and a confidence coach for men. I focus more so on grounded masculinity, helping men to own their masculinity, own their balls, own their sexuality, and get out there and cold approach. Get off the dating apps, get off the social media, and go out and meet women in real life. I help them overcome the fear of rejection. Look at past trauma, look at the things that are holding them back from approaching women and expressing themselves freely, limiting beliefs, reprogram their subconscious mind. So yeah, I'm very passionate about this, and I do one-on-one coaching in person and online. So I work with guys in my area, Orlando, Florida, and also guys all over the world.
How can they reach you?
Man, they could reach me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere. So they can reach out, private message me, and we'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. And guys, I'm going to be putting Trey's like links and everything in the description, so there should be no problem at all in being able to find him. Okay, but okay, Trey, I love that. Something I really like actually, as you were talking, you have a lot of conviction, but your conviction doesn't sound cocky. Could you explain how can a man um be have the same conviction you have,
Mhm.
but without coming from a place of ego?
Yeah. Yeah, so the simple answer, it's easier said than done, but it's living from a heart-centered place, right? So having an open heart. Having the intention to give love. When I'm approaching a woman, I'm masculine, I'm dominant, I'm all these things, but I actually have a good heart. I actually want to know the woman, actually have her best interest in mind. It's not just about me. Like, of course, I want to get laid, I want to get this, but I know it's a give. Like you give and then you receive. You know what I mean? So it's just coming from a mentality of everyone's supposed to win. It's not just about you.
Mm.
And there's a certain confidence there because it's like obviously you're confident in yourself, but you're also confident that you can give value to this person. That you'll make that you're the right choice for this woman. Like why should she choose you? Well, you're actually going to be a man who can, be grounded and not get triggered and know that she's a woman and she's going to have emotions and you need to be that rock that can handle that. Most guys can't handle a woman's emotions. So that can be part of your value, just being a type of man who can deal with the storm of the woman's, feminine energy. Um so yeah, a lot of inner work, dealing with your own traumas, your own limiting beliefs, looking at your own bullshit. A lot of it comes from that, and a lot of references, a lot of getting out there and really seeing what it's like to approach women and get rejected and also have some success and deal with all the things that come with it, not just sitting, reading books and watching videos all day. You can learn some stuff from that, but you really learn when you go out there and get the real experiences. You see that life is unpredictable. You could read 1,000 books and go out there and something happens that you've never seen in a book. So it's like you just got to get out there. And having a coach is huge because to go and do this by yourself, it's tough, dealing with that rejection. I remember, going out trying to approach and I would walk around in circles for hours not doing shit. Or even or even when I finally was able to approach, I had to start with old ladies, you know. Yeah, because I was so like afraid of like, okay, what if I go up to this hot girl and it doesn't go well and people see me get rejected and I look stupid? It's like all this shit in your head. So yeah, you just got to start where you are, even if you just can go out and just let me just go out. Let's say you're someone who doesn't go out at all. Start with just going out. Don't put a bunch of pressure on yourself. I got to go out there and get laid and this and that. Just go out. Take the first step. Then next time, all right, let me go out and say hi. So you as a man, there's just no excuses. You got to just do what you can and then keep building.
Mm. Wow, you said a lot of good things. I have like 50 questions just based on what you just said. But you said something really interesting, and I want to tap into it, or I want you to tap into it. Excuse me. You mentioned that it's not easy. It's not easy to get to the level of where it sounds like what you're saying is like the authentic self. Okay,
Hmm.
right? Showing her your masculine, but also respecting the feminine to the point where, for example, and then I'm gonna give you the thunder, okay? Like let's say like today I approached a girl in the gym, but I wasn't approaching her. I was curious about something. I
Hmm.
won't lie. She walked like she walked like she was like in MMA. She looked like she was gonna like f somebody up. And I told her I was like, listen, I was like, yo, like, are you in MMA? She was like, no. I'm like, listen, you have the swagger. You're walking like you're gonna fuck me up. And then we
Hmm.
start laughing and stuff. She's married, not a big deal. Okay, not a big deal. I wasn't hitting on her. I was
Hmm.
just curious about her. But
Yeah.
then she gave me a face, and it was so easy for me to be like, oh my God, she's rejecting me. Oh my God, no. But I was like, I don't care. I still want to know if she's in MMA or not.
Hmm.
So it takes a lot of work to get to that point where you can actually see that.
Hmm.
Where did you start? And then what was like and if it was multiple things, please share that. What was the breakthrough that you had, Trey, to get to this level of comprehension?
Hmm. Yeah, so where did I start? So as I said, I started by talking to old ladies. And even that I remember was challenging. Like some of the old ladies would ignore me, and I don't know if it's because they couldn't hear me. Some of them weren't nice, right? So even old ladies, like I got to see that, everyone has their own personality and you don't know until you actually approach them. But basically, when you go out and you consistently cold approach, you'll start to see the reality of life. A lot of the reactions you're getting have it's not really you. Like, let's say you get rejected. It's not really they're rejecting you. They're in a certain state and you're in a certain state and you're just not matching. Like I started seeing rejection like that. It's like the person's in a certain vibration, a certain frequency, and you're in a certain frequency. If you guys are on a similar frequency, then it's going to be a vibe. If you're not, then it's not going to be a vibe. And it's literally that. If you start taking it personal, that's stupid because it's just not to be taken personal. The person can't even know you in that short period of time to reject you.
Mm.
So I started to see like the truth of that. Um, Also, when you approach a lot of women, you start to see patterns. You start to see that part of it is about you as well. Like the way how you're showing up, the woman's gonna reflect that, right? So I noticed like if I approach like half-ass and timid and shit like that, the girl like eats me alive or she ignores me or. But if I approach with strength and conviction and power, she's more likely to go into her feminine. She's more likely to actually hear me out. Or even if she rejects me, it's more of a respect for rejection because she respects my masculinity. She respects the fact that I approach her. So I started to see these patterns of the universe is just showing you, the woman is just showing you like how you're showing up in life. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of references, and then studying other men who paved the way. Like I've studied like all the guys in the game, like Mystery. I studied Arash. I've looked into Ross Jeffries. Everyone. I've checked out your stuff. I learned from everyone and kind of see how every man is going through life and what kind of experiences they're picking up, and I compare them to mine and see if I'm getting similar experience. And just being a student of life is a huge part of it. And also not just seeing code approach as a way to get women, but it's a way to build your character as a man. I started to see that's actually one of the main reasons why I chose to focus on code approach as opposed to dating apps or social circle game and all these other things, because I saw how it was building my character as a man. And that's really what I wanted to own my masculinity. I wanted to be free. I used to see those guys on YouTube like would do the pranks and the disturbing the peace and the cold approaching the women. And I really admired the freedom of its self-expression. So that's what I think if you focus more on building yourself as a man, you'll get the most out of approaching women. And the women are like the icing on the cake. you know?
Mm. Wow, that's deep. That is deep. Let's talk about rejection, but not the surface level of rejection of like, oh, she rejected me. No, rejection of self.
Mm,
Because there's gonna be so many guys watching this, and I promise you, they're gonna be in the comments, bitching, complaining, whining. Oh, blah 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 blah. Trey's fucking jacked. Blah 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 blah. Okay, Trey's black. Blah blah blah. All these nonsense. Okay, I
mhm.
want to squash that right now. Rejection of self. How can a man who is so deep into the pickup artist, the world, how can that brother get out and see himself more?
Mhm. Yeah, so me, I'm not, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm really that much of a pickup artist.
Mm,
What I mean by that is my game is actually very direct, right? Going back to the whole being able to be free and express myself, I grew up very shy. Right? Like in middle school, like I was a shy dude. I was a quiet dude. Girls would even say it like, "Oh, why are you so quiet?" and this and that. I even remember having girls come up to me like showing interest and I wouldn't do anything about it. So I just was this shy dude. And I saw that if I want to get women, if I want to be successful in life, I can't be a shy dude. I have to do something about it.
mm,
So it starts there. You have to realize no one's coming to save you as a man, right? Like no one's gonna come and do this for you. You have to want it, and you have to be willing to um be courageous, right? You're gonna have to face your fears. You're going to have to look at your past trauma, like the shit that's happened in the past. Like I remember some girl, I remember I tried to holler at some girl in middle school,
mm,
and basically she didn't like me. And so she spread this rumor like, oh, I don't like Trey and da da da, da, and then everyone was making fun of me. And that was like a trauma. So I had to overcome that. I had to realize, okay, that's one girl. It was in middle school. Like in middle schoolers, they're like, that's how they are. I had to just look at it for what it was and be like, no, there's other girls out there. You need to go talk to other girls. You need to open up and see what life really is. That's too small of a experience to project on your whole life, you know? So
mm.
you have to go back and forgive those people. I forgive that girl because I know she was just trying to be cool and popular and all of that. So you gotta forgive yourself too for beating yourself up. Like that's another thing. We beat ourselves up when things happen. It's like, yo, that's life. You're gonna sometimes a girl's gonna like you, sometimes she's not, Sometimes you go left, sometimes you go right, sometimes you go up. That's just life. So um yeah, it's just facing your life and facing your fears, facing your demons. Um really sitting down, doing journal work, looking at the things that happen and write them down and see how you can reframe them. Meditation is huge. Like meditation was very huge for me, overcoming my limiting beliefs and my past trauma. I would go in my meditation and I would go back in the experience and relive it, but relive it from a different place, from a place of love and understanding and strength and wisdom. Experiences with my parents. I had a very um, my father was a very strong disciplinarian to the point where I hated him. And I had to like go back and reframe that, see it that the way he was, he used to discipline me very harshly, but it was just tough love. I had to go and look at it from that perspective because when I was going through it, I thought he was just an asshole. Like, man, I hate this guy. Why is he always so mean? Doesn't let me do shit. If I make a mistake, he whoop my ass. But I started to see he just wanted the best out of me. Like my dad made me get better grades in school. He made me stay out of trouble, So I had to go back and look at that and forgive him. I had to forgive my mom, for she, there are certain points where she was like being a little too soft with me and making me soft and emotional and shit like that. So I had to go back and forgive her and know that she was doing the best that she could. So a lot of it is going back, facing your past. Because when you cold approach, things are gonna come up to the surface and you have to face them. A lot of guys will just do a bunch of cold approach and don't face those things that come up, so they don't really get anywhere. Like they're just doing a bunch of approaches, but they're not really growing internally. If you really want to grow, you have to face those things. If you can do it on your own, like I was blessed. I'm not saying I did everything on my own, but a lot of it I did do on my own, and I was blessed to have the strength to do that. But a lot of times you may need to get a coach. And I did get some coaches and stuff. So I'm not saying I did it all on my own. Yeah, you need to get a coach, help you see your blind spots. That's a huge part. You know,
Can
we
we
have
know? Can we know who your coach, your mentor is?
I had a couple, you know, I studied Arash like a lot, right? I studied Arash a lot. I did a couple coaching sessions with him. I went and seen him in field.
Mhm.
Let me see who else. I mean, I bought some of Jeffrey's courses. Um, I've learned from a lot of guys. I don't know if you remember Good Looking Loser.
Of course I do. Scotty.
Yeah, yeah, Scotty and
Personal number, bro. Okay.
yeah.
Personal
Good
number.
Looking Loser. I don't know if you remember Justin Wayne. I looked into
I do. Yeah. I met him in Miami. Yeah.
Um, who else? Satori, PUA, Satori,
Oh,
Dominican.
wow. Really? Damn. That's old school. Holy shit.
Yeah. I did a boot camp. Yeah, I did a boot camp with Satori.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, and then just like reading books about the mind and stuff like that. Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Mm.
David R. Hawkins,
The
David
first, the first guy you said that he made the spirit molecule, right?
Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yeah.
the spirit molecule.
Yeah. Is that the same person who wrote that book?
No, the books he wrote Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Becoming Supernatural, You Are the Placebo, and
Oh,
Evolve Your Brain.
gotta write that down, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Keep on this. Wait, what was that? Was becoming supernatural? Okay.
Becoming Supernatural, that's his like most recent book. That I mean,
Okay.
if
Okay.
that's the best book, so if you want to start with the best, but his first book was Evolve Your Brain, which talks about how the brain works and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just my whole thing was like freedom and understanding, how the mind works, how the body works, how the heart works. Because I remember in middle school and high school, the guys who were getting girls, they weren't learning a bunch of pickup lines and stuff like that. So I wasn't really big on that. I just wanted to be free. The guys who were getting the girls were the guys who were free,
Mm.
like able to express themselves, who didn't give a fuck, with crack jokes, like they were just free. And my issue was, you mentioned like guys gonna be in the comments talking about I'm in shape and I'm black and I'm tall and this and that. It didn't matter. Like if you have a certain look on the outside, but the girl approaches you and interacts with you and you don't have any confidence, the attraction dissipates like almost instantly.
Mm.
So I remember I would get girls' attention, but I didn't have the confidence in me. Like I didn't feel like I was worthy of the woman. I had a fear of success too. Like, oh, she likes me now. What do I do? All type of shit. So the girl would get some interest at first off of how I look, and then they would lose interest right away because I didn't have the confidence. So my whole thing, my journey was more so about the inner game.
Mm.
So even like me mentioning Arash, like a lot of what I learned from him was the inner game. Like he teaches a Mr. method as well, but I really wanted to learn how to just be who you are, be confident in who you are and express yourself. And I wanted to attract the women who are for me. I'm not trying to get every single girl.
Mm.
I'm trying to attract the girls that are right for me. And the only way I can attract them is by showing who I am, right? So it's the same thing for every man. When I coach my clients, I help them be who they really are. I help them open up. I help them unleash the beast. I help them, you know, express themselves and show who they are and go and talk to women, right? You're only talking to one woman a year. Like, of course, you're not getting women. Like, get out there, you know? So,
Every 12 months, right? One approach. Yeah.
yeah, there's some guys out there who do one approach or no approaches for a whole year. So it's like, imagine if, I tell them, like, imagine if you just did like 5 approaches a day.
Yeah. Boss.
Even one approach a day, to be honest, is like huge if you could be consistent, right? But 5 approaches a day, like do that for a month, like you're in the game now. You're playing the game. So
Love that. Wow. That's deep.
mhm.
I love what you said, Trey. Okay. And honestly, I'm so glad, that we're homies, we're friends. I mean, I hope you are. Okay. I hope you're friends. But
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
but I like that because yeah, you said so many amazing things. Let's talk about. There's so many things, man. I need you another podcast, and I need you for longer than 1 hour. Okay, next time, longer than 1 hour, man. Okay. All right. Next question. Okay. Inner game. Okay. Now, I love that you said that you're not in the pickup. Okay. Basically, like you're pretty much making your life on easy mode, just being you. People say like be yourself.
Mhm,
This is it.
mhm,
Okay, and then what Ross said that as well. being yourself can be boring if you allow yourself to be boring, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I want to talk about like how like there's so many all the nerds pickup is a bunch of nerds that couldn't get girls. They were all like the chess club nerds who decided to make up all these formulas, DH3, negging, push pull, like I don't know, all these like gambits, vacuums. I'm like, oh my god, I can't even explain it. My game actually got worse learning technique game versus being real. Okay, like it got worse. We spoke offline. You know what I'm saying? Like it got worse. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what's going on? Like I'm not this bad. So let's talk about that. Let me see. What's a way that you can like? I'm not trying to have you like show your IP. What's the way for? Because there's so many guys that are technical. Okay, they're also stuck in like I must learn NLP. I must learn simple pickup. I must learn this and this and that. How can this guy snap out of this delusion and because there has to be some level of structure, okay? Or at least like you could let me know if there is. How can this person become their authentic self or use inner game to actually get girls? But I don't want to make it that advanced. Can you give like a does that make sense? Like simplified version of like a person could tap into their inner game and actually get better, but having some kind of a structure with inner game. If I don't know if that makes sense, but take it away.
Okay, let me look at that because I do believe there is a structure to interacting with a woman and going from stranger to boyfriend and girlfriend or stranger to some kind of sexual romantic relationship. Um, I do like the mystery method, like how it says attraction, comfort, seduction. I do like that. Now, let's just say someone just looked at that, like, okay, I need to create some attraction. The girl needs to feel comfortable with me, and then I need to like lead this into some kind of romantic sexual relationship. I think just understanding that is solid enough, right? The mystery method, it goes into more like A1, A2, A3, right? But I think if you just understand like, okay, I need to be attractive. I need to create some kind of comfort. This girl has to feel comfortable with me for us to have sex. And then I need to lead it to sex or to a romantic relationship. So I think if somebody just kept it that simple, I think they'd be good. And then from there, the inner game is just to be able to do that without just being in your head the whole time.
Mhm.
Because if you're what I realized with pickup is like it works. Like if you learn these techniques and stuff, it could help. But I just didn't want to be in my head all the time. That was the thing. Like I want to actually enjoy the moment. I actually want to enjoy the woman. I don't want to be thinking, oh, I need to say this to make her like me and need to do this. Like I just want to show up like, looking decent, like, have a decent archetype, like you got a decent, like a cool archetype. Like just find a good archetype, look good, smell good, feel good. I think that's a huge part.
Mhm.
Is how you're feeling, right?
Mhm.
Because that's what's being transferred. Like me talking, I talk about having an open heart.
Mhm.
When you approach a woman and your heart is open, she can feel that. And what I notice is we're going to talk about rejection. When you approach a woman with an open heart, it's very unlikely that she's going to give you a harsh rejection. Like there was this guy, I remember when I used to hit the clubs, there was this like Asian dude, and he basically used to dress like a hip hop, like he was into hip hop and stuff like a rapper. Basically, he was trying to be something he's not, like just to be honest with you. And he would approach women like, yo, what's up, ma? And this and that. And they would reject him left and right.
Mhm.
Now, let's say I was to do that. Like, yo, what's good, ma? But like I'm really feeling that. Like that's really how I'm feeling and how I want to do it. It's gonna hit differently because that's how I'm feeling. That's really, how I want to express. I'm not trying to be cool, right?
Mhm.
He was trying to be cool, so he was getting rejected left and right. But what he should have been doing is just let me just like if you're a person who just wants to say, "Hey, how are you?" But like that's how you're feeling and that's like truly you, that can hit. Like, you know what I mean? That's good enough. Guys think that they need a perfect thing to say. It's the feeling that's coming across, man. It's all about the feeling and paying attention to the woman too. Seeing where she's at. Like Imagine you see a woman and she's clearly like, I don't know, like just, I don't know, maybe looks kind of shy or something. And then you go up to her and like, yo, what's up, sexy? Like this, she's gonna be like, whoa, like what the fuck, you know? And then vice versa, right? You see this girl, she's so sexy, she's so fine, and then you go up to her like, hey, how you doing? Like, you know what I mean? So you gotta just know, like, okay, how am I feeling? And also, how is the other person feeling?
That's too
You know,
funny.
that's the calibration, right? It's like you need to feel good, and then you need to look at the person you're about to approach. And then also, a big thing is knowing what you want too, right? So if I know I want a feminine, let's for example, I want a feminine and submissive woman, right? Then I have to approach her in a way that would attract that type of girl and repel the girl that's not that. Or if I want a sexual woman, a lot like right now I'm looking for women that are like more sexual and more fun and playful. So a lot of times I'll open with like, "Hey, what's up, sexy?"
Mhm.
And if she rejects that and is like, "Oh, I don't like that" or whatever, then that's good because I'm not looking for that girl that doesn't want that. I'm looking for the girl who I can talk to like that, who I can be that way. That's how I want to be. So you got to know what you want. So know what you want. Um, get into a good feeling, like a good state where you feel good about yourself and you're feeling good. Look at the woman and observe her when you're about to approach, like her body language, what's going on. And as far as structure, I think just understanding that you do need to create attraction. The girl needs to feel comfortable with you, and you do need to lead the relationship somewhere. So I give credit to the mystery for coming up with that structure. And then if you want to go deeper into that, you buy his book. But like I think just knowing those three things is solid enough.
So if I'm summarizing it here, you're basically saying that having an idea is better than having point blank period, this, that, right? Like the idea. I like you, I want you, and
Mhm.
then let me just calibrate myself in getting what I want in a respectful place. I feel like that's what you're saying in some way.
Yeah, for me, that's an enjoyable way to go about it.
Yeah.
I tried doing the other way, like learning a bunch of these stuff, and it just got it's too much like, okay, am I doing this right? Did I just don't
Robotic,
like
right?
it.
Yeah.
Huh?
It comes off robotic.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm looking at also I want to enjoy code approach. Like I saw, like I don't, you probably experienced this too. It can turn into a chore if you're always, like, and
Yeah.
that's not it, bro. I used to watch the guys on YouTube who would just go up and just have fun.
Hmm.
There was another guy named Stephen Joe. Like he would just go. You remember Stephen Joe?
No, no, I have not. No.
Vitali? What about
Yeah,
Vitali?
I have. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Still.
like I was attracted to the idea of just going out and having a good time because like I said, I used to be shy and inhibited in my communication, all that. So I just wanted to be free. I remember I just wanted to get a girlfriend. I remember like it just started with that. Because
Hmm.
I don't know if you know, just so everyone knows, to give context. I was always tall, always in shape because I played basketball in high school and all that. But I didn't lose my virginity until the age of 24. I didn't get my first kiss until the age of 24. I didn't get my first girlfriend until the age of 24. So just to show you, just because you have a lot of guys like this, by the way, who look on the outside like they're killing it, and they're not. They're just good at like pretending. Like I was good at pretending. You would have thought I was getting girls. I wasn't getting shit. I wasn't getting shit, bro. So like, but it wasn't until 24, which all that time, what I was doing was I was working on my confidence as a man, and I wanted to be me. I wasn't trying to be like anybody else. I wanted to learn how to get women by being me, but like the best me, like not the shy me, not the me that doesn't feel like he's worthy, like the true me, not the ego, the pure consciousness that knows that he's worthy of all that God has put on this planet. So you get in touch with that. That's the real you that has no limits.
Wow. Wow. If you don't mind sharing, how old are you right now?
31.
Okay. So that's good
Mhm.
because that gives an idea because you're a coach, right? It's instructor level, and I can tell you're advanced. It goes without saying. We both know it, God knows it, everyone knows it. You're advanced, okay? It shows it right here. So from 24 to 31, 6 years, okay? That's actually really commendable. There's a lot of people I know. a lot of dating coaches, the ones that are not using the authentic self, the ones that are pickup artists, it takes them 6 years before they accept themselves and they call themselves a coach. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then their arrested development, whatever. I could shit on them all day. They're easy targets. But um, something you said was really interesting. You said that you basically said that you you said this hit home. You said that you don't want to make approaching a chore.
Mhm.
I promise you. I know exactly what you're saying. I promise you. The moment it became a chore, that's the moment I realized I'm doing something wrong. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Talking to people is supposed to be fun.
Mhm.
Okay? The
Mhm.
moment is like you beat them, you get where I'm going, right? Like it's yeah, it's that's torturous. So a person right now, okay, because there's gonna be a lot of them, and no shade against them. Okay, they're watching this so they can learn.
Mhm.
That person who's stuck in that cycle of like, oh my God, they get anxiety. I have clients who I can feel their heart doop, 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 before we even start the session because they know we're about to do work. Okay? How can that guy, not a client, but I'm saying the guy who's stuck, something simple. How can that guy, and not, you already mentioned talking to old ladies, they're beautiful, by the way, okay? Hey, listen, GILFs are beautiful, okay? Or GILFs, not GILFs. However, how can that person get it going? And not like a one liner, but you know what I'm saying? Like exercises. What can they do? Or maybe mindset, maybe reading books.
Yeah, so I actually recommend uh this concept called exposure therapy.
Mm,
That's actually what I put my clients through, depending on what level they're at, right? If a guy's just starting into cold approach and he has approach anxiety and stuff like that, I put him through a process of exposure therapy. I already have a whole system for that. But basically, the idea is if you're afraid to approach a woman, you ask yourself, like, what is something I can do that is not as much that doesn't bring as much tension as approaching a woman, but is does bring some tension and will help me build towards being able to approach a woman. So, for example, asking for the time,
mm,
right? Going up to a woman and say, "Hey, do you know what time it is?" You know? And what's funny is I actually know guys who came through my program who can approach women, like they can kind of approach women. But when I told them to go and ask for the time, they were having a hard time with like doing that,
mm.
you know, because there's a different type of tension there, right? Like you're gonna ask the time, especially if you actually already know the time or whatever. Now you're in your head like, wait, I already know the time. Why am I asking for the time? You know, and there's all the so you get to see like how present you're not actually or how much like bullshit you have in your head. Because we should easily be able to go ask for the time. But I remember even for me, it was kind of challenging doing that. And then, you know, I have them like even for example, one of the drills is you have to ask for the time while you have your phone in your hand. You know? So like and these things like it just gets you comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's the thing. It's like approaching a woman can be uncomfortable because there's tension there. So you want to train your mind and body to be okay with being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Ah,
And
that's cool.
the more you can build that up, the more you can get towards like you start with that. Let's say next thing is you give out compliments. You know, you build it up to the point where you can walk up to a woman and say, "Hey, what's up, sexy? How you doing today?"
Mm.
Hey, what's up, sexy? I wanted to come and say hi and you know see what's behind this beauty. You know, but you have to build up to that. Like me, I can walk up to a woman and I can deliver this like well. I can walk up to a woman now and say, "Hey, what's up? I think you're sexy, and I want to see if you wanted to exchange orgasms."
Oh, I love that. Oh, I like it. I'm gonna,
Now,
yo, I'm gonna copy you. Okay, let's go on.
yeah, now that you see, like there's a certain groundedness, but that's a lot of bro, I've done a lot of approaches and stuff, so I can do that. I can go in a grocery store and do that and pull it off. Somebody else tries that, they're gonna get kicked out. The woman's gonna be like, what? Da 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 da. You know, so but that's the power of exposure therapy. Like I literally started with old ladies. Like I'm personally, I'm very proud of myself because I know where I started. Like I would walk around the mall for 3 hours
Mm.
like this happened like consistently. I would go out and the same shit would happen. That's what made me start talking to old lady because I'm like, bro, it's better to talk to an old lady than walk around for 3 hours. You feel me?
Mm.
So so yeah, the to answer your question, exposure therapy. Like I would tell the dude, like, okay, let's go out and go get the ask for the time. And if they can't even do that, then we need to sit down and look at what's going on subconsciously because then that means there's some real shit going on there and we got to face that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, I love that. I mean, normally, I'm not gonna lie, no offense to other guys on my podcast, I normally don't take notes because normally people don't say brilliant stuff, but I'm taking notes, brother. Okay, I'm taking notes right here, and I'm gonna try that. The orgasm thing, I like
Yeah.
it. Okay, I'm already excited to do that.
By the way, I got that from Alan Roger Curry from Mode One.
From Wu, Alan Wu.
Mode One. So I don't know if he literally goes up and says that,
Yeah.
but his whole thing is like you want to when you're interacting with a woman, you want it to be clear what it is that you want.
Hmm.
And so I experimented with just like being like completely because that's as straight up as you can get, right? Like you want to exchange orgasms, and actually saw that some women responded positively to that, actually very positively. But
Hmm.
you have to really own it when you say it because they're gonna look at you like, excuse, like, did you really just say that? So you have to, you have to really be grounded in it because they're gonna challenge you. Like, you think you could just walk up to me and say that? But if you have that vibe and that demeanor of like this is who I am, like take it or leave it, they're gonna accept it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Actually, I've already thought of like two. I'm not gonna say it, but I'll probably tell you offline. As you were saying this, I already thought of two ways of using the orgasm thing
mhm,
and saying it in a way that's calibrated.
yeah.
No, I don't want to be crass, blah blah blah, right?
Mhm,
And after she says all that, you're just letting her know I'm a genuine, kind man. I'm an
mhm,
honest man. Okay, I don't mean anything bad. It's just who I am.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. So I like that. I
Mhm,
love that. I love challenging myself.
yeah.
Actually, so okay, okay, we're doing good in time. You got 15 minutes, right? You good?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah, I need you on a second podcast for at least like 50 hours, okay? But let's see. So this is a question I ask all the guys. Let me see. Okay, I got like two. I got this, I'm trying to like figure out which question to ask you. Okay, so you're a really direct guy, right? There's a lot of individuals I know who have excellent game as well. They're able to, get women, but they have this thing where they feel like I have to go indirect. I hear this a lot from a lot of the guys who they have a lot of game, done this for a year, 10 years. They always preach that this is the way they say it. Advanced game is indirect game. Real men don't go direct because then you'll lose the girl, right? Okay. So why are they saying that? Like, where's that coming from? Like, why do people feel like, because you're a really direct individual, as I am,
Mhm.
why are these guys like, have you ever been indirect before? And if you have, um, like, do you ever go indirect or are you just 100% direct?
So I go with what I'm feeling in the moment and what
Mm,
yeah, what I'm feeling in the moment. So let's say,
mm,
let me see, indirect. Sometimes my vibe is sometimes I'm not really I'm in a more spiritual mentality, not really in a very sexual mentality. So like for example, when I'm in that type of vibe, I may just go up to a girl and say, "Hey, how's your day going?"
mm.
I don't know if that's indirect or what, but it won't
It is, it
necessarily.
is, it is indirect, yeah. It's
Yes,
indirect.
so that's one thing I realized. Like you want to just be authentic to how you're feeling. So it's not like all the time I'm feeling like I need to go and say, "Hey, what's up, sexy?" Like, let's say I just had sex. I'm not. Now I literally just busting nuts. So I'm more like chill or whatever. So I mean, say, "Hey, how's your day going?" or "Hi," or "How are you?" So
Mm,
or maybe I have a genuine question about something. I'm in a grocery store and I'm like, "Oh, how are those brownies?" Or but it's not like
mm,
I'm trying to game them. It's just that's what came up in the moment. That's what I wanted. Like I said, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be able to be free and just say what comes to me naturally. So I know I'll say this: when you're indirect, there's less rejection, right? Because when you're direct, it's like you're putting the woman in a position to like it's either yes or no. Whereas when you're indirect, it's kind of like it's not really a yes or no kind of thing. It's more like we're just seeing, where this interaction goes, and it's like more neutral, right? So indirect, I would say there's less rejection, and you do, how would I put this? Um,
I already know what you're going to say, but
Yeah, you give more time for, I guess, for attraction to be created or for you to, but that's what I'm saying. You got to know what you want. Like me, I know exactly what I want. So my communication is just looking for that.
mm,
And I want to find out, like I have a life and stuff. So I would just want to find out, like, yo, are you the type of girl I want or not? So that's why I like going direct. But if you're someone who has more time to like sit there and go into all this stuff, then that's fine. Okay, so another reason why I'm not a big fan of indirect is sometimes you can waste a lot of time too. Because some girls will just use you for attention or
mm,
entertainment or whatever, and then at the end, I have a boyfriend, or at the end, I'm married, or at the end, and I that you yeah, that to me is annoying because I don't like wasting my time. So that's a big part of why I'm direct too. Is like I rather instant rejection than to sit there. Like I remember I was at I'll give you a quick example. I was at this breakfast brunch place called First Watch, and I
mm,
was talking to the bartender, and I literally started it off like, oh, I bet you get hit on a lot, and she was like, oh, not really. Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're sexy as fuck. So right away, I'm going into it, right? And we're talking, we're vibing, I'm finding out what she does and this and that. And then at the end, she was like, because I wasn't I was direct, but I didn't like let her know like I'm trying to, link up or something like that. I was just talking, and normally I would like let her know like, yeah, I would love to take you out or I'd love to do this, but I didn't do that right away. I was just talking to her. And at the end, she ends up telling me she had a boyfriend.
mm,
Now, if I would have did my usual communication, which is, hey, I think you're sexy, and I want to see if you'd be down to get some ice cream or get a smoothie or you exchange orgasm, whatever. But I'm telling her, look, this is what I want right from the get-go. Now she has to tell me if she has a boyfriend or not. But if I don't do that, if I'm kind of more laid back about it and, oh, I'm just giving you a compliment, but let's keep talking. She could have a boyfriend the whole time, or
mm.
she could be married, or could she could be, so I don't like to waste my time, bro. So that's a big part of why I'm why I'm direct. Like I just like, and I'm not afraid of rejection too. I could take rejection.
Mm,
So just reject me and don't waste my time. Let me find a girl, because that's the thing. When you have references of finding the girls that are for you, they're there. So it's like, all right, I'm mining for gold. Get the dirt out the way so I can find the gold.
oof,
Quick, quick.
that's
I don't
deep.
have time to waste. Let's go.
Mm,
So that's my mentality. That's what works for me. But there's different styles of game, and I'm not hating on anything. I just think every man needs to find what works for them, what's right for them, and that's it.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 I love that. 10-second story for you. Last night, I went out with my mother to grab dinner. The waitress, smoking sexy in Farsi, because I'm from Iran. Farsi, I told my mom and I were like best friends. Okay, I am a mama's boy. I'll openly admit this publicly. So my mother in Farsi was like, "Hey, she's sexy." My mom was like, "Yeah, she is." My mom was like, "Do you want her?" I was like, "Yeah." And then my mom started like the conversation. She broke the ice. She was the waitress. And then I talked to her too a little bit. Okay, she had nice nails. I was like, "Oh, mom, look, she has a smiley face. That's so cute." She's like, "Oh my God, yes, it is." Blah blah blah. We both like hyping her up. And then, anyways, she comes back. She's about to come back real quick. And then my mother, I told my mom, I was like, "Okay, mom, this is all Farsi." I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna ask her on a date." She's like, "Okay, do you want me to go to the bathroom?" I was like, "Nah, just stay there, eat your food, okay? Enjoy your food. Don't go to the bathroom. Enjoy your food, okay? It's cold. Enjoy it." She's like, "Okay, fine." She came over. I told her straight up, okay? I was like, "Listen, I don't want to be too much. Are you single?" She was like, "No, I have a husband." I was like, "Ah, that is unfortunate because you're so beautiful." And then from there, she's like, "Oh, thank you, blah blah blah." I was like, "Do you have a twin?" And she's like, laughing, ha ha ha, no. And then I don't like to do more than that. It's just too much. She's a waitress too. I want to respect her time or her or whatever boundaries.
Mhm.
But anyways, long story short, she's like, no, ha ha ha. Okay, I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And then I just went back into like just vibing with my mother, and then the whole entire time she kept biting her lip. She kept like checking me out from afar. She was like, look, I saw her. I was looking this way, corner of my eye, and was like. No, I was trying to not to like look at her like this, okay? The whole time she was like checking me out, just like I'm saying, like I touch her feminine. It was really interesting. But yeah, I love stuff like that. You just get to the point. I'm not gonna wait for the whole dinner to get to my point. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stop. Okay?
Yeah, so another thing as you were talking, I want to point out is like I don't like to be played. That's the thing. Like I don't like to be played. I don't like to be manipulated. So the thing about being direct is like you can only get played and manipulated if you're playing the person and trying to manipulate the person. So if you're direct, you just you cut the bullshit, you know? So are you single? I like that you said that because she has to just tell you is she single or not. She can't play you. She can't waste your time. She can't
Yeah.
you find out right away.
Mm,
And it is what it is. And sometimes they'll even, if they're really feeling you, they'll lie about that.
mm.
That's on them, Like they'll tell you, oh, they're single when they're not.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
dumb. Like,
Yeah.
they're if they find you attractive, then that's fine. Whoever that is, he must not be doing something right, right?
Mhm.
If she's saying that she's single, so you're doing him a favor actually.
Yeah. And actually on top of that too, okay? And now it's about to get like heated, okay? But about 5 minutes left. But I don't like liars. I like people with integrity. So if she told me that she lied to my face, I'm not gonna accept her ever again. Because if she lied about this white lie, what else she's gonna lie about? Okay, so if from the very start, I see someone's integrity. So if she tells me that she fakes it, like, oh, I have a boyfriend. If later on she tells me I don't, I'll ask her, was it because you had a bad experience? Okay, but if she said no, I just want to say that, then like whatever. It's a finesse, okay? It's a conversation. But I don't like liars. If the girl's not sexually confident to tell me point blank period, I'm single, I don't want to date you. You're not my queen. Okay, you're a peasant. Okay, I'm getting like too much. But the point is, I don't want her. Okay, I don't want her. You could have her. I don't want her.
Word.
Yeah, that is totally cool. I love that. Um, Now the last final question I ask this to everybody is who were some of the mentors in your life? And you kind of mentioned a few of them, to be honest. Can you give a few mentors in life, but not just in like I want to say game, okay? Not just with women, but also in life, okay? And also, and if you have the time, what was like the lesson you learned from that? From lesson from them, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say the person who inspired me the most to want to level up my character as a man and my inner game and all that. I'm gonna just be straight up. It was Arash Dibazar. He goes by AZD now, but yeah,
Mm.
like when I seen him on YouTube and I seen how free he was and how he didn't give a fuck and he had the nails painted and the eyeliner, but you could still see the masculinity. I was like, yo, this dude is like different, And then he would show his girlfriends and stuff like that. So I was very inspired by him, and I've been, following him and studying his stuff for a long time. And man, like it's been like so helpful because it's like you're trying to do something, but if you see someone who's doing it and they're doing it at a high level and they're not giving a fuck, it's like it shows you it's possible. So that was a huge. Um, and then I would say like not Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's not like he doesn't teach game and shit like that, but he teaches presence in the moment. He teaches you, how to reprogram your subconscious mind. He teaches you about the quantum field, how everything is energy, and learning about that helped me as well because I knew, I believe in God, so I know that there's more going on than what we see.
Mhm.
Right. So the more you understand that, the more you stay elevated in a high perspective and you spend lot less time in these lower emotions of fear and guilt and worry and all that shit. Because if you know there's a God, there's a higher power and you're aligned with him, like you stay up here, you stay in a place of peace and love and joy and bliss and all that. So, and he kind of breaks it down into science and stuff like that. So those are the two, I would say, the two main people that I study the most and learn the most from, and they just help me become more free. And I studied a lot of different people, but those are just like I would say the two main ones.
I love that. Listen, I love Arash, okay? Regardless of all the things I've said, I like him. At the end of the day, I like him too, okay? I love that you said that. That's so true. Okay, and yeah, you're 100% correct. I love that. All right, so Trey, one last 3 minutes, okay? I'm gonna squeeze the whole time. Is there any question that you wanted me to ask, but I didn't, and you want to, explore that?
Um, I guess maybe something I would say that the first thing that came up is like what is the one of the main qualities that I've developed that's helped me
That's a,
succeed in the game, and I would say it's courage. Um,
hmm.
as a man, we have to really value courage because pretty much anything that you want, it's like it's on the other side of fear, right? So you have to know that if you want that thing, like don't expect it to be easy, don't expect it to feel comfortable. Like if you want that girl, you're gonna have to like, man, girls will challenge you, man, but it's making you better. You know what I mean? You just have to keep that
Hmm.
perspective, like, because it's easy to get like in that mindset of, man, fuck that bitch, or bitches ain't shit and this and that and go into that. But like that's not gonna get you, you're just gonna like shut down and blame women, and it's not gonna get you where you want to go. You just have to be a man of courage. Like, I know there's a higher perspective. I gotta keep going so I can get that wisdom, so I can advance in my game. This girl's testing me. All right, let me overcome the test. And it takes courage. So I would say, if you're a man who's struggling in the game and struggling to get the results you want, are you being courageous, or are you succumbing to fear? Look at that, because it's something simple, but if you become a man of courage, you could do anything, bro. So, yeah.
Wow. Any last words, any last things you want to share with us before we wrap up?
Now, I would end with that. Just ask yourself how you could be more courageous today. What is a step you can take? What is something you're shying away from? Um, and tap into that. See what is something you could do that might scare you a little bit, or might push your comfort zone. And when you do it, no matter what happens, like pat yourself on the back, like be proud of yourself, like, yo, I did that shit. Whether you get the girl or not, it's like, did you approach? All right, bet, respect.
Yeah, I
I
like
love,
that.
I love when my clients approach. I don't say, hey, did you get her number and this?
Mm,
No, like you approach, like, good shit, my brother. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
I love
So
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, a lot of love, a lot of love. Okay. And one thing I'll say as well is that this whole entire time as you were speaking, from the start to the end, I can tell that, and even if you didn't mention God, I can tell that you're a man of I have no word to explain it, but you believe in
Yeah, I'm
God.
a man of God. I'm a man of
Yeah,
God.
man of
100%.
God. Yeah, yeah. From the beginning, as you start speaking, I was like, because I never knew. We never spoke about that. And I was like, Trey's definitely a man of God, like 100%. Like you just have to be from the way it's love. From the love, because this whole for the guys looking at this podcast, look at it again, all over again, but only look at Trey and try to see where he's coming from. And if you do, you will see that he's always coming from a place of love. It's just a fact. You could tell in this podcast where you're coming from. Okay? I love that. You are exactly what you preach, brother. And I'm a huge geek. I will probably take your program not right now. In the future, I will probably take it, or maybe just I'll probably take it anyway because I want to be a student and I want you to be my teacher. Okay? Because I'm sure there's something in there that, whatever, I like it. And also, I think it would be fun to spend some time with you. Annoy the fuck out of you and like, just be annoying. Okay, I think it'd be fun. Because then you can't leave because I already paid you money. Okay, you have to like stay there and take my shit. Okay, so I definitely want to do that in the future. That's a fact. It will happen. But Trey, I want to respect your time, brother. This was absolutely amazing. Afterwards, send me your email address. I'll send a copy of this and if you have any last words, about your program, okay, anything like that, any spots open and stuff like that, now's the time. Please share it. Afterwards, we're gonna wrap up and I'm gonna end the call, and then that's it.
Yeah, my brother. So thank you for having me. I enjoyed this podcast, and as I told you, I enjoyed all the previous ones as well. I think it's really dope. You just getting these people on and getting their perspectives. Um, I would just end with by saying, yeah, I do one-on-one coaching, is both online and in field. So I'm based in Orlando, Florida. So if you're in that area, you want to do some in field, I'd love to do that. I'm one of those coaches that actually approaches too. You know,
Mm,
I've been on some boot camps and stuff where the coaches don't approach. I'll approach. So you're gonna see how I approach. You're gonna see how I deal with rejection. You're gonna see the masculinity, whatever you need to see, and then of course I'm gonna push you to approach as well. And depending on what type of package you go with, I may teach you some meditations and stuff like that. Just depends.
mm.
But yeah, I have different coaching packages, different price ranges. You just have to reach out to me. And like I said, I do in-field, but I also do online. So online would consist of you get access to, I have like a video course, and then we do like one-on-one calls, like on a video, like similar to this. So yeah, those are the options. So you just got to reach out. I'm on Facebook. You search for Trey Morgan, message me, and then you said you're gonna add my information somewhere so they can. There's different ways to get in contact with me, but you just got to find a way, and we'll
Yeah.
make it. Yeah.
No, I love that. And one thing I will say is that I did take a coaching call with Trey, and something I really like. There's a lot of things I like about you. I'm really excited right now, so I'm stuttering. Okay, but I respect you a lot, man. Okay, and one thing I really like is that, and this is for all the guys that going to take his coaching, he will actually listen to you. He's a very good active listener. And there's something about you is that you see between the lines. I might say this, but you know it's not this. You know it's over here. You know what I'm saying? And that is a gem. A lot of coaches can't do that, but Trey does it. I've seen it in person, not in person, but I've seen it. I've seen your work. You're a real man. Okay, I'm serious. You're a real man. People should not pay all those other companies out there that are, really famous. Instead of that, they should take their money and pay you because they will actually evolve.
Hmm.
Those guys talk about technical game. You actually talk about inner game. Yours is longevity, and theirs is short term. It's just a fact. Okay, but guys, I'm gonna put all of Trey's, the ways you can reach him out in the description, and do reach out. Don't waste your time. Trey is a real motherfucker. All right, man. This was a pleasure, Trey. I will definitely hit you up. I want you back on here. I'm serious. And next time, please have like 2 hours to spare from your life. Okay.
All
But
right.
otherwise, amazing, brother. You have a great Monday. And yeah, bro, I will talk to you later.
Likewise, my brother. I appreciate you, man. God bless.
All right. Catch you later.
Peace.